Good day to all. If you can notice, I actually released already the part one of areas of management of this particular type of services, management advisory services. So this would be a long discussion, I would say that, and expect that there would be two parts of the part two. Let's begin. So here are the management consultancy services that will be or can be provided by certified public accountants. Although the emphasis is on or with the CPAs, however, we have to take note that even the non-CPAs can also be part of the particular engagements. All right. Although if we really have to be very specific with management advisory services, these are the services provided really by CPAs. But if consultancy, then that's allowable. That's fine for non-CPAs. Here are the traditional services provided by CPAs, again, even the non-ones. So we have the traditional managerial accounting, in which the concepts learned from the courses, management advisory services are to be applied. For accounting system, we can also design and make some appraisal or improvement or development of that existing accounting system. Number three is financial management related services. So if you can recall discussions about bond valuation, stock valuation, capital budgeting, financial statement analysis, etc. Another one is business planning. So creating the plan for a certain business. These are the project feasibility studies or PFS. Okay. Then after that, we have emerging consultancy services. So global risk management solution. And here are the following items. So financial risk management, how a certain organization or client would be managing the risks with their respective investments. Then long-term perspectives, that's letter B. Letter C, with respect to the operations and then systems of the organization. Then letter D, in terms of compliance with provisions of the contracts, then applicable laws and regulations in which an entity is operating, then we can talk about compliance. Internal audit services, again, these are the services provided in order to improve the existing operations or existing transactions or systems that is geared towards improvement of such for our client's sake. Then we also have, by the way, that's global risk management solution under emerging consultancy services. Second group would be for the transactions or transaction services. Next would be for financial advisory, so giving sound recommendations or advices in terms of investments or monies to our clients. Then we also have our, in terms of projects, so sources of financing of the projects and privatization when an organization wants or it's really into being private, so it can really manage its own operations. Number five, valuation services in terms of getting the estimated value but reliable value of certain items. For example, liabilities in cases of litigation, in cases of retirement benefits, as well as others. Then in case that a business suffers from certain disruptions which are negative that affects the operations of the business as well as finances, then we talk about how a business recovers, so business recovery. Then in case of certain disagreements or disputes, conflicts between one organization to another or our client with another person or entity. So dispute analysis and investigation. It could be internal and external or external as well. Then what are the risks in terms of usage of computers? So this is another engagement, computer risk management. What about for selecting the software or application software as well as implementation? That is another one. Next, criteria in determining the scope of service. When you say scope or when we say scope, that means start and finish. So the overall length or breadth of the service that we are going to provide. First one is responsibility. Who will establish the responsibility for the scope of service? So this should be in agreement between the client and the practitioner. And second, independence. We have to make sure that overall, with respect to our engagement, our independence as practitioners should not be compromised. So we should be independent in total, not only in appearance, but also in the mind. So both external and internal. Then for number three, competence, we should have the appropriate educational qualifications, training, seminars, expertise, and the likes. Experiences also are counted. Then requirements for specialization, if in case there are certain items or aspects by which we should be also requiring, let's say, other practitioners to be part of our team. There are certain aspects here actually that are explanatory. So sometimes our explanations could be just expounding and sometimes stating the obvious. Number five is in terms of basic problems, we identify, we diagnose, and then we resolve. We get the resolution of that for them. Number six, referrals. So it's very important that for our engagement, we have to give or provide our best foot or foot rather forward. This is for our referrals. So this means that if we provide the best possible efforts that we have or we can, then our names will be great or considered great, and we will be referred to a lot of people or a lot of potential or prospective clients. Number seven is code of professional ethics. So we have to be guided by the code of ethics in the conduct of our engagement. Here are the types of clients that we can have. So contact, meaning our clients which we keep in touch. Intermediate would be, for example, these clients act as the middleman or agent to us. So clients referring other clients. Primary, so really the direct clients that we have. Then unwitting clients. So then before we continue, we have to make sure that these types of clients are actually the ones possibly affected by the engagement in terms of the impact of whatever implementation that we will have along the way or in the journey for improvement or towards improvement. So going back for intermediate client, it's also possible that these clients are the ones in which the practitioner or practitioners or the accountants or auditors would be making their particular communication, but these are not the heads of the organization or part of the management. Then primary clients clearly are the ones to which the practitioner would be expected to communicate to them overall. Then unwilling clients are those people who do not know that they will be affected by the particular results or findings of the engagement, most especially with the implementation. Indirect clients, they are actually not known by the consultant or the practitioner that they will be affected or impacted by the findings and implementation of the engagement. And then because the consultant is not aware, so for sure their reactions or the impact to them would not be known or cannot be directly known by this particular engagement. So they are considered also important supposedly. Then number six, ultimate clients are the clients in which overall the engagement would be affecting them. So the total community by which such engagement would have impact to. All right. So highlight on number three, four, and five. Number three is known by client, and then known also, of course, by the consultant or practitioner, and to the impact, or in terms of the impact, they will clearly be impacted. That's the intention. Number four, for unwitting clients, they actually are known by the consultant, but then these people are not aware that they will be impacted by the findings of the engagement. Number five is indirect, not known by the consultant, but they will be impacted by the findings of the engagement. So if you can notice, these people would be affected by the findings. Next, group of clients that CPAs can provide MAS. Actually, in part one, we have already mentioned them. So it's just that there's an addition for others. So those entities that cannot be classified under each. So private organization, this is a non-state, so not owned by the government. This is for profit organization and not for the practice of profession. The others have been mentioned: government, not for profit. So any earnings or profits will be utilized or used to further their objectives in the organization. Then for the practice of profession, that's number four. Next, the decision to use an accountant can actually be subdivided and can be dissected in terms of questions. So what can I offer the client business that will enhance its performance and help achieve its objectives? So that's very important because we are saying that the purpose of this particular consultation or this particular endeavor or engagement is to improve the performance and the quality of information of the client by providing insightful recommendations. Letter B, why will my contribution be more valuable than that which existing managers and potential recruits can contribute? So remember, there are already people at the top in the organization. So why can you add more in the business as an accountant? Let us see, how can I communicate to the client business then, or that what I offer is valuable? So how? What will be the means of communication? So initially that could be in a form of letter, and then, for example, setting an appointment to be formal and explaining to them. So provision of information, we have to take note that information is valuable to a business. It is also one of the scarce resources and can make or break a business. There is a cost accompanying with that, being a resource or being an asset, if not really an asset accounting wise. Then information is a resource that must be managed. As what I've said, it can make or break a business. For specialists, they can also be part of the engagement, especially for those items that the practitioner, like the CPA, has not have any expertise thereof. So example would be, again, this is the classic one, in terms of the values of jewelries or gems. So that is beyond the expertise of a CPA. Therefore, a gemologist, for example, can be considered and will be recruited as part of the engagement. Application of technical knowledge and an ability to use specialist analysis techniques. So in terms of accounting and auditing, CPAs and even the business practitioners are knowledgeable, but for the other things, they're not. For provision of a new perspective, take note that managers are not decision-making automata. So this is a good sentence. They cannot automatically make decisions. So they need perhaps further insights because they are blind by other things, or they are blind by their own biases. Cognitive maps, mindsets, or dominant logics are used by managers to see their managerial world. And this is also important. So this means that they are again bound by their respective worlds or businesses. And that's why the consultant can act as the agent who will give fresh information, fresh perspectives to the engagement or to the client about the issue. So issue provisions. Then support for internal arguments. It's possible that disagreements can arise along the way over a wide range of issues, and conflicts of opinion can take a variety of forms. So conflict management is very important here. For as long as giving of opinion or that's just focused with professional opinion, then that's going to be healthy because we want the best information possible to be provided to the client. Then in gaining a critical resource, it's also important to have the support. Organization must attract resources in order to survive. So economic resources or assets. Then the managers are there in order to attract resources on behalf of the firm. So that's the ultimate function of the managers to manage the wealth, safeguard the assets of the organization, and then also to create resources, have the resources that would sustain the business to maximize shareholders' wealth, most especially for number one classification for profit-oriented organizations like corporations. Consultant can be of great value in structuring a proposal. So making the proposal in order for the manager and the business to be able to make sound plan in order to gain critical resource or how to deliver this particular plan also. Then facilitating organizational change is also important because change is imminent in the organization. It is existing. It is going to occur or happen. And dynamism and ever-changing business landscape is around. And then managers would change their roles and responsibilities in order to adapt to change. But then we must take note that even if we know that change is imminent, change is abound, but then people would resist the change because perhaps of the comfort that one experiences or they or us experiencing. And that's why sometimes organizations call for change as the primary goal of the consulting exercise. So consultant will be giving insights why change would be there and would help implement the change. All right, so this is the end of the first part. So let's just say the A section of the part two of areas of management advisory services. Thank you guys for listening. God bless us all.